Hello and welcome to Rony's Tuesday Fun Race Extra Large Round 4 on simbroadcasts.tv. I'm Peter Butcher, and tonight in the commentary box we have Eoin Harmon and Miika Särkkinen for the MRG V8 at Aston North Reversed. Good evening, gents. Eoin, how are you?
I'm doing well, Pete. Thanks for asking. How are you?
I'm all right. And yourself, Miika, how's it going on with you?
Good evening. I'm fine as well.
Glad that's all the formalities out of the way. Yeah, it should be a good one. Unfortunately, we missed round number 3 of the championship last month, which is a shame because the combination was pretty epic, as we have on the screen right now, the calendar as it has happened so far. We missed the XFR at Kyoto 2 Reverse, which we were a little bit upset about. Vitaltas Gutskas won that one ahead of Furtive Racing's Leo and Unite and Rick Cardle. But yeah, that is a shame. But on to tonight's action, we have a mod at Aston 7 Reverse. That is Aston North for round number 4 of the championship. And let's have a look at where we are tonight. Aston North Reversed, guys. It is a classic in Live for Speed.
You bet. It's got the dramatic straights and the heavy curves, the uphills, the downhills, everything you could ask for.
Does indeed. All 5.2 kilometers, 3.2 miles of this circuit. It does have, they say it has the, every single type of corner you could possibly want in a racetrack. You know, you've got hairpins, you've got undulating up and downs, you've got twisties, you've got big straights, you've got chicanes, you've got everything. This track does offer it all. And one thing we have to look forward to, other than the 43 laps of racing with a mandatory pit stop coming up in a few minutes, is the car itself, which you have to agree, it is a beast. Look at this thing. 3.5 litre V8 MRG V8 GTR, rear-wheel drive, just under a ton with 420 brake horsepower. It's been made by Ivan CSX, and watching it just before we came live, it looks like an absolute handful. And if the Acosta Starlin 2 months ago is anything to go by, Eoin and Miika, we are in for a treat this evening.
I can imagine so. It's a very bulky looking thing. I can certainly tell straight away that front nose is unlike anything we've ever had in Live for Speed, and it could make a very fundamental difference to how drivers conduct their side-by-side driving.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at the championship standings before we head into the qualifying that we have going on behind us. It's Gutskas leading the way with 76 points ahead of Fragmasters Fatal and Rick Cardle. Upsas there in P4, Pekka Koivunen for World Class Lines in P5, then it's Sidus Unite, the second of the Sidus guys there in P6. Arska, Thamuli, Donny and Mandula round out the top 10. And let's let these results scroll through, shall we? Miika, you've been involved in RTFR this year, but your team are doing pretty well in XL, the ZFRL guys. How do you feel about that?
Well, obviously I'm feeling very good. We've all been doing pretty good this season on both regular and XL, and I'm very happy for our results. Of course, there's been a lot of hard work, practicing and such, but we've come forward.
You absolutely have. Season. I mean, Eoin can attest to the performance last week by the ZFRL boys in RTFR. How do you think they're going to handle today? I mean, it's a completely new car for everybody, Miika. So hopefully they can turn some good results today.
Yeah, at least Emily has usually pretty good pace, considering when there's like a new car or like new setup and such. When everyone gets kind of on the same level and everyone needs to learn from the start.
Qualifying is going on, in the background here, as we have on the screen, and it looks like Thamuli is doing quite a good job there in P9.
Yeah, just like as I was saying about, he's very good at learning these new things. Whenever others are learning stuff as well, he's picking up stuff pretty quickly.
Yeah, he absolutely is. Bear with us while we try and get you some actual pictures of this qualifying session. There we are. Apologies for that. Gents, who are we watching here? We've got a world-class Lions car on screen, but it is Lagutskas leading the way in this session with a 145.65 overall. And this car looks absolutely fantastic as we head through the S's and around to the first of two hairpins to end this lap. What a car.
Yeah, it's just got that retro vibe, particularly those front headlights and the grille. Something you'd see out with the 1940s up to 1960s, perhaps. Really unique design. And the power that is going to be output out that V8. Absolutely thrilling, I'm sure. And those slick tires, they're going to get maximum grip where necessary, but if they veer off into the scenery, their race is likely over. They're going to be spinning and hitting walls everywhere they go.
Yeah, we've only got 20 seconds left of this session, so the cars have 20 seconds to get round to the start-finish line before their final attempt at a lap here. We're watching Carlos just coming through onto the back straight here. Oh, as the car goes very wide in the background. But Carlos currently in P15, not a name I'm familiar with in RTFR, but currently doing a nice job well inside the top 20. We do have 40 cars trying to get a position on this grid. And, well, let's see which ones of them can make it as the clock hits 0. And these guys then on their final timed lap. Here again is Michael Malek Miika. Michael is normally one that we see in the top of the order in RTFR and XL, but today only P30. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, he failed to qualify last week for RTFR. So not sure what's going on with Michael, but hopefully he can get a hang of this lap. What do you think?
Yeah, well, obviously Michael has been a name on the top tier, but I don't know what happened. Maybe he's got not enough time practice and not finding setups and so on. I hope he can get back to his normal routine and being the top driver.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, yeah, like you said, this is a mod, and that means that there aren't too many available pre-made setups, of course. So a lot of the drivers will have had to throw together their own, and that's particularly important because obviously today we have the XL format, 43 laps of Aston's North reversed, which is no mean feat. You can't just do that without any practice. That would be insane. And a pit stop in the middle as well, of course, as Michael comes across and does not improve then on his time. And that is that for his session. Johnny SVK also there aborting a run, goes straight into the pit lane. And yeah, it does look as though most of the drivers have completed their runs. We are still waiting for a few to come across the line, but it is 41 cars who have attempted to set the pace here. But yeah, only 40 of them will start the race, of course. It is Lagutskas in the pole position currently, with True Alpha, Yoni Katila in P2, Rick Cardle P3. That is everybody, Owen and Miika. So let's do a full rundown of the order. So here we are then. Vitautas Lagutskas leads the way with Yoni Katila in P2. Rick Cardle will be starting on the second row alongside Fatal from Pragmasters. Then it's Furtive Racing's Pablo alongside World Class Lions Asker. Yaroloco and Texas share the fourth row. Thamuli and Rony share the fifth. A good qualifying session from Rony there. He must like the car quite a lot. Owen, how about you handle the next top 10?
Yeah, from 11th downwards, we have Martin Kapal, Happy D of MRC. With the exact same time to the 100th of a second. Behind them in 13th, it's Timu Soini. Lallaroo has P14. Carlos slap bang there in 15th, ahead of Nick, Iron Dunny, Yari Katila, Lorenzo, and Falcon.
And going ahead from P21, we're going Raymond, Iva, Motimokri, Default, Masway, Svet, Lersi, Gabor, Leandro, and Michael.
And the final 10 that will qualify, Race Green's Magic, Yaroslav Donnelly, Kig for Master Race Car, Il, Johnny SVK, Oil Burner, Heltonen, Vina, Brave, and Angelov. I believe there is just one more name on the third page of results here. A very lonely page here. It's Vexor, 2 minutes 43.8, not good enough to qualify. However, if anybody above him does not turn up or not decide to take the race start, then he'll be promoted into the grid as always. Around about 5 minutes to go then before the start. And what do we make of the car so far after watching it in the qualifying session? Start with you, Owen.
Yeah, the top speed is pretty impressive. It was sort of hitting the top limiter at about 157 miles per hour. Some of the drivers were getting very good traction out of the chicane at turns 4 and 5, and then veering down to turns 6 through 7. We don't know what it's like in head-to-head battling yet. My suspicion is that because that enormous bonnet and the nose, you have to know exactly where you're going if you're going to be side by side. For example, you could be charging down to turn 16. That's a tight right hairpin after the left sweeper. So if you're on the inside line, you're going to be hitting the brakes, but then you have to know to back off if someone is going to take the ordinary racing line. But I like the look of it. When it's settled, it looks really impressive through the corners. Good top speed, but just that extra element of its peculiar shape and power that can make the difference.
Yeah, I mean, Owen covered quite a lot there, Miika, but do you have anything to add?
Not really.
Yeah, fair
really
enough.
new to this car, so.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Me too, and a lot of us will be. I don't think many people will have seen this mod who are watching, but if you have, then let us know in the comments, of course, and the chat to give us your thoughts on the car. It looks great, and thank you to Ivan CXX for putting in the effort to create it. And he's managed to get 40 cars on the grid for this race, so some people must like it. That is in contrast, of course, to Martin Capel's Acosta Starling, and not to dig into Martin or anything, that car looked really difficult. This one a little bit more manageable, should we say. So let's hope that we get more finishes than we did the last time out that we were covering XLO in.
Exactly, Pete. Yeah, I think the Starling made people quiver in their racing boots. It just proved an enormous challenge around South City. And people thought I'd rather just drop the points and move on than try it out.
I mean, it was pretty unique. We had people complaining during the race that the car was so difficult. It's like they were grabbing on for dear life, and the car was driving them around the track. Hopefully we don't have that today. Again, mods, they are completely new to the sim, so we don't quite know how these kind of untested in race situations, how these mods will cope. But this looks like it's got proper racing pedigree, that huge wing, as you mentioned, and the long bonnet, not dissimilar from the LX cars in LFS, but there's not really much visibility out of that little windscreen, as you can see from the tiny image we have of the car here. It's a proper race car, and it should be a lot of fun. Hopefully the drivers have got some setups, because of course they're going to need to wrangle this thing around 43 laps of Aston North reversed with, at some point, 10-second pit stop. This track has everything, as we mentioned in the pre-show. It's got all the different types of corners that you want, really, in a race. Not necessarily, though, if you're not that familiar with the car. So unless some of the drivers here have done a lot of practice, I reckon a lot of them are going to struggle, Miika.
Yeah, I bet. Didn't seem the easiest car to handle, and, the setup might make a big difference, especially in this long race.
Yeah, so let me put you in the shoes of the driver. You've turned up on a random Tuesday to join RTFR, which is great. We love to see drivers doing that. And you've just thrown yourself into a mod to drive 220 kilometers in race conditions around this tight and technical track. It's quite a feat. And we're going to see that unfold in 3 minutes. This is always exciting, I think, with the mod cars. We just don't know what's going to happen at all.
No, this is another case of just pure unpredictability. We know that if Vitautas the Goosecast can get a pole position, that there is somewhat a routine that he's able to handle all these different challenges put in front of him. But the contest, it's going to be fast and furious. All the top drivers and top teams are represented in the top 10. So, yeah, as you rightly point out, Pete, anything could happen.
Anything could happen indeed. 2 minutes until gridding. We've got a lot to look forward to, I think. I really like AS7R. I can't remember the last time that we saw it in XL, but I do remember the last time we saw it on our channel, and that was some absolutely epic racing. AS7R and AS7, in fact, do provide a lot of entertainment, a lot of heartbreak, and a lot of excitement too. You can drop the ball on the last lap here, and it is costly. There's a lot of places where that's possible. And Owen, one particular place that you alluded to, as we see the evidence of that in the background there with the skid marks over the curb, the S's are going to be a particular challenge in this car, especially when following.
Indeed, turns 13 and 15, 13, 14, 15. If you go single file, I think there is a way to keep the car stable, but I'd be very worried if anyone dares to go side by side. But even more treacherous could be the Eau Rouge or Faux Rouge. I think that was a pun in the past. It's a lot tighter and a lot more technical for these kind of cars. So if you're entering with too high a speed, or if you got your racing line wrong, you're going to shoot straight into that gravel trap on the outside, and that will be the end of your race.
It will indeed, and there is no time to brake, no time to breathe when you come out of I guess it is Eau Rouge in this direction. When you come out of that corner, you don't have much time to relax. There's going to be plenty of slipstreaming battles happening down towards Sector 1, and then the really difficult kind of chicaney kink at the bottom of the hill before you get that short blast down to the hairpin. This track is relentless, and our boys and girls on the grid today are going to have a lot of work to do, and gridding up is happening now, so sit by and, well, let's enjoy.
A great opportunity for a new challenger to emerge, but the favourites have the track position with the gridding now formed. Race green, race clean, as always.
Absolutely, and just look at the length of this grid we have today. Absolutely stunning amount of cars. Race green, race clean indeed. Unbelievable. It's great to see 40 cars week in, week out in RTFR and RTFR XL, and we've not been let down again today. 38 will take the grid, and here come the lights. For round 4 of RTFR XL in 2022, we are green, and it is Vytautas Lagutskas who leads the field down to turn number 1.
Launch. A superb launch for Rickard on the outside of Lagutskas. Oh, Pedro is seemingly... Oh, no, Pedro has mistimed his braking completely. And we've got just a terrible situation here for a lot of drivers.
Yeah, Lagutskas got away very, very cleanly at the head of the field. But look at Rickard now, down to P19, somewhere in the middle of this mess. P20, in fact, as we hit the timing line. But there we are. Lagutskas well into
more chaos. Car rolled nearly. Yes, it's Michael. Michael is upside down.
And he's removed himself from the race. We cannot get a look at the aftermath. Fatal, he's had a great start. He is up to P3 then, and hugging onto the back of Yaroloco, who has kind of weaved his way into P2, currently using the same livery as Lagutskas.
Yeah, they're not classified as teammates in some respects. Must be a default livery. I haven't investigated myself for sure. Yeah, this is a great chance now with Fatal on board shot here. This is where I mentioned in the preview you don't want to be side by side around here. I think Yarloco's line was compromised into 14, and now the long corner 15.
Oh, big
that's a big launch. Oh, he's hitting in the back with a lag.
Yeah, unfortunately the South American ping coming into effect slightly there, but Fatal needs to be careful with this rejoin. But that is a terrible, terrible amount of places to lose, and that puts Yaroloco back in P2, Texas P3, and here's Gabor in the middle of the action, just behind his teammate Rick Cardle.
What an opening lap we had. There was so many places going around, switching places, and the whole order got like shaken up. It's a good start for the race. It's gonna get interesting from here.
Yeah,
and Fatal. Go ahead, Pete.
Yeah, Fatal after rejoining is rejoined side by side pretty much with Rick. He's managed to get ahead, and he's now is now going to end up being in a 3 wide as they head onto the back straight. Fatal in the red and black car following Jari Katila. Carlos has spun in the road, and that's going to cause all sorts of trouble further back. He's taken out Gabor.
So spinning.
Oh, and Monty McCarry, your teammate there, Miika, unfortunately. But oh, goodness me, drama even on to lap 2 here. So the chaos has continued.
So many unfortunate things happening already. Many people spinning and going around. This is absolute chaos for now. Maybe it'll settle down. Maybe it'll be just hard racing from now on. But man, we're having one hell of a race here.
Yeah, Zdravko in the chat has alluded to the fact that Yaroloko and Lagutskas are driving Yes Motorsport skins. Of course, they're both members of that team. Fatal and Rick now side by side. Rick trying to get back through. They go side by side into the corners that Owen said you shouldn't be side by side in.
Oh.
They've managed to make it work, Owen.
Well, that's -1 for my bingo card. I got that one wrong as the skill was on show there. But now on board with Rick. Be disappointed to lose the position like that. But yeah, there's still plenty of time to regain it, especially with a third party. Happy D has now been overtaken by Fatal, and he's now going to miss the apex completely, so that releases Ricardo as well.
Yeah, Rick has to go defensive, he feels. I mean, look at that. He's already going defensive on Happy D. Happy D trying to find a way back through. Going to the outside. I think Rick will have this covered. But yep, some nice racing action. Rick just didn't get a good exit. Well, good stuff in the midfield.
Yeah, but there's an enormous split. Yaroloko has no one behind him really. He can concentrate on somehow reducing that 3.9 deficit to Lagutskas. Texas in P3, another 2 seconds back. Yeah, the Hipmuli's hanging on there in the top 10. And a good queue of cars here from 5th downwards. It's Lallaroo leading that train with Martin Capal, the clearest challenger for the top 5. But here's a chance for Donny getting on that inside line. Turn 10. Yeah, that's going to remain a contest up until the do or die turn 12. And I think actually Rony could have a look. No, they're going to go single file. And the Himuli at the end of the queue, they are looking and seeing if there's an opportunity for him to gain a position.
Yeah, we're right on board with, yep, you guessed it, the green gave it away. It's Rony as we head into the hairpin, the first of the hairpins, and Rony up to P8, so good effort there. A couple of places gained. Donny just got Capal.
Just outside view there, the Himuli lost traction on the rear end out of the hairpin, and he falls to 15th.
Yeah, unlucky. Well, that's what happens when you can just momentary lapse, and that is all it takes. And as Donny is really making some places now, he's just got past Lallarux as we head down to turn 1 on lap 4. Then Lallarux going for a big send. Oh, and Donny just about manages to get it collected, but has now fallen back into the clutches of Martin Capal and Rony. So yeah. Lots of action.
Out into the barrier goes Iron Donny. Just needs to watch his mirrors now. Big gaggle of cars are coming.
Oh my goodness me. Who was that he made contact with?
That's Happy D.
Happy D. Well, Happy D would have had yellow flags and obviously a yellow car in front of him trying to gather it up. And, I don't know who to put blame on for that one, but both drivers severely hampered now.
Yeah, it was a really unlucky position. There was no other way to come back to the track, and not really another line the guy from behind could take, so it was just almost as meant to be.
Yeah,
they hit there.
Unfortunately inevitable, but yeah, look at that. Lagutskas 5.15 seconds ahead of Yaroloko, but Yaroloko now then being caught slightly by Joni Katila, 2.5 seconds. We'll have to keep an eye on that battle because it looks like Fatal is about to make a move on Rony. Miika, take it away. Fatal cannot find a way past the back of that green machine, and looks like Rick behind is having a go at Martin down into the hairpin. The big send, and makes that one pretty cleanly. Can Martin have anything to say in return? Martin started, what was it, around the positions 11 through 20, somewhere in that gaggle, and he's remained there. He's currently in P8, so managed to stay well out of the kerfuffle. Ahead, it looks like Rony has succumbed to Fatal in the end.
Yeah, Fatal's made a good breakaway there. Nice recovery from getting the lag hit when he was battling Loco, I believe it was.
Yeah, indeed. Yep, great stuff from these guys. Obviously, they're still going through the learning process. None of these drivers, as far as I can tell, will have done any sort of race practice, as we see Rick Cardle getting a very nice clean move down the inside of Rony. That will let him focus on the back of Fatal now and maybe give Martin Capal a sniff at the green machine. Yep, nice stuff. Loco took the fastest lap on the previous time around, which is impressive.
Loco seems to be doing pretty good this race so far. On the second place, still ahead of Joni Katila. Even though Joni Katila is closing in and maybe going for a challenge here. Seems like he's saying no, he's backing up and finding a better place to go and overtake him.
Yeah, so even though he got the fastest lap, it does look as though he is struggling to be consistent because, yeah, like you said, that 2.5 second gap to Joni has disappeared, and here comes Joni now on the outside, as we've got a couple of cars leaving the pit lane. They won't get involved in this fight. Loco defending well. Very well, in fact, trying to force Joni the long way round. Joni has the inside for Eau Rouge. Will he back out? Will he heck? There he goes.
Yeah, that's the courageous driving I'd expect from Joni Katila. And Lalarue has seemingly made a botch of his pit entry. I didn't catch it with his car camera, I suppose, but yeah, he has pitted. And unfortunately, he will be deemed to have sped in pit lane.
Unfortunately so he'll have to make another trip through after his 10-second mandatory pit stop. But it is Joni Katila who's up to P2 in this race under the pseudonym of True Alpha for World Class Lines. Loco for Yes Motorsport demoted to P3 overall. And a surprise entry into the top 4. It's Texas back in a very nice position. Tamuli and Yari going at it. Miika, maybe you can talk us through this one with your teammate.
Sure. Tamuli is taking a lunge inside, and I think he can keep up the pace here and he goes past Jari Katila there. Such a clean pass, a clean racing from both of them. Even not defending too hard when he saw them lunging inside.
Yeah, and Yari has nothing to say now because Tamuli has disappeared and won't have been helped actually by the dirty air. This car has a huge wing. I wonder if the amount of dirty air this thing throws off is quite substantial. I wouldn't be surprised. Let's see if Yari can do anything in the braking zone for these hairpins. Doesn't look like it. Gabor is in a fight with Falcon. In fact, he's just got past Falcon, and Falcon definitely handy in these cars. Remember, Gabor had that big incident at the beginning of the race, and you can see that on the rear left of his car. Lots and lots of damage. Iva versus Mazway gives Mazway the lead. Interestingly, I was looking on the LFS forum earlier, gents, and it looks like Mazway has partnered up with Isaac Price for the upcoming 6 hours of Kyoto. Bit of trivia.
That's a turnout for the books, definitely.
It is.
Yeah, we keep an eye out for that in the month of May. He's got to watch out here. Iva has the inside line now for turn 1. Isaac hopefully will be monitoring his teammates' fortunes today, and if not, he'll hear about it at the end of the race. The big 6-hour race coming up. There'll be lots of efforts. Mazway mistimed that braking point. I believe he needed to just lay off the accelerator for a moment to get through the left-hander, and unfortunately Mazway has let through 2 other cars, and he's down to 19th.
Hopefully Isaac was looking away. Back to the Gutskas, and yeah, he has opened up that gap to 8.2 seconds. There is the gap, in fact, on our screens. There is Rony just exiting the first hairpin, and Gabor is the man on the move. Even though he has that massive damage and the bent left side of his rear wing, and a huge wing it is, he's making ground, which is insane.
Or has a look here, and yeah, again Capal. I think Capal's been doing quite well these last few laps. So yeah, Gabor not having it all his own way, but a great getaway in the final hairpin. So perhaps Capal likes those medium sweepers compared to maybe Gabor, who's gone for all-out power. And then the hairpin braking as well. You can never be certain, but that's what I saw.
Well, he's certainly got the hang of the car, because look at the amount of ground he's gained on Martin already. As Martin actually goes off onto the grass, this is going to be tricky. Ooh, goodness me. That was Falcon just managing to get through before Martin rejoined the road, as we've seen a few drivers doing. And this means that Rayman's going to shoot past. And Miika's favourite, the Muli, might have a chance here.
Yeah, he might as well. It's a hard left turn and going a little more deep right. But yeah, he can follow there. Pretty good. He has to make the space for the next corner, maybe. I wonder if he can follow here. Well, we're going into the S's, so I don't know how it plays with this car, but these turns are pretty tricky with any car, because just how the track goes, little dents and all of that stuff. The way it transfers very interesting ways, so you kind of need very specific line many times throughout these corners. But they seem to be doing all good, and not really places opening up, just following each other.
No, Martin had a tricky time as well, of course. He's following Rayman and has the dirty air, and Thamudi might have a chance at ascend. He goes for it. He's gone for the move. Martin has the inside for the final hairpin, and no overlap as of now. So a very nice return move from Thamudi there. And can he keep it? Let's see. He's got a good exit again out of the final hairpin, so great stuff.
Yeah, the Muli had the acute angle there, but he made it count. And Capal, after that unfortunate mistake on the last lap, he'll hopefully have that knowledge in mind. He won't do the same mistake again. But we're going to check out Rony, who's now got to compete with Silas Gabor. But the competition could be ended here by a slipstream. That's hitting the 157 benchmark there. Nicely played, Gabor.
Very nice. I mean, what is going on? Is he got super low fuel, or is he just in a different league? I mean, he didn't qualify fantastically for Gabor standards, but something's switched in the race.
Let's see Texas's bid to keep fourth place off from Fatal, or away from Fatal. Now will be just a chance for Fatal to consolidate and maybe plan an attack for the last two hairpin corners coming up. There's the first one down, two more to go. This might be Fatal. You want to probably look on the inside line for the final corner. Just say to Texas, yeah, next time by I'm going to get you. Yeah, he's taking a nice undercut of the apex. There's a car spun. Yeroloco, that's Yeroloco out of P3. He made a big mistake out of the final hairpin. So now Fatal has that fourth place. But Texas will now have the podium position to compete for.
Unbelievable. Well, Yeroloco, after having a really, really nice start to this race, has dropped the ball, unfortunately, and that was the best attempt that Fatal had, or the best chance that Fatal had to get past Texas, but it's gone, it's evaporated, and look who's lurking in the wings. It's Rick Cardle for Sidus, who is closing that gap while these two fight. This could be a three-way fight for P3 on the podium.
Yeah, Fatal should be well aware of this by now. He thought he had it all clear and good just a few seconds ago against Texas, but now the Sidus Supremo, Rick Ardle, will be hunting for that P3 now. Lovely aerial shot here now. Just a little bit of vegetation in the way, but that's fine. And again, it's a case of just building the overtake. It's as easy to talk about, oh, I'm going to overtake here or here, but you've got to actually plan ahead and make sure you nail every corner before that prime opportunity appears. But it's a little bit too far for him to take the inside line here. But Rick is also preparing his strategy to catch these two lapping, I suppose. Going to be very, very tricky for both Texas and Fatal. They've got to focus on their own. Yeah, you can see Texas is on the ragged edge here, and he knows if Fatal gets by, then he's going to be vulnerable. He'd be taken off his ideal racing line, and Ricardo could also lunge in and have a go as well. Here comes the slipstream, Pete.
Yeah, it does indeed. And these guys are going to be all over each other in turn one. Fatal trying to go around the outside. That's surely not going to work. That could hand the advantage to Rick Cardle. Nice switchback, though, from Fatal. That was nice. Takes the lead of this battle. P3 for him for now.
Yeah, getting through that treacherous fourth and fifth complex. And yeah, third, fourth, and fifth. Oh, actually, no, not the fifth as much there. But Texas will be just about clear of Ricardo's car to make sure he can come in for the attack. And Gabor pits early compared to his compatriots.
And he's done a damage repair. I don't know if he meant to do that. But anyway, he must have had low fuel, or the damage was just burning his tyres or something, because he's come in very early. But maybe that explains his pace at the beginning of this race. Maybe he was just, burning up that fuel, and he just wants to enjoy the remaining, what have we got, 30-odd laps here, as we see the Gutscast now making his way through traffic through one of the back markers, and likewise for Yoni Katila, as one of the back markers very eagerly gets out of the way.
Yeah, that's Vinar. Unfortunately, he's lost his track position to Magic at the very back. That's P30 exchanged. P29 and 30, I should say, exchanged. So yeah, there you go.
Yeah, as we return to this battle that is brewing for P3 in this race, Fatal took it briefly, but Texas and Rick Cardle are not going away. And Fatal, importantly, isn't able to get away very easily as Rick goes for a send on the inside of Texas. This will help Fatal because Rick hasn't managed to get that move made. And Miika, this is getting pretty heated between these two.
Yeah, I bet Ricardo should get overtake soon. He's managed to come up the whole field through so quick, and now he's already fighting for P4.
Yeah, he wasn't able to do the switchback, the same as Fatal did on the previous lap. Has to settle in behind. He tried it.
Quite. It was close. It was a good try though, but I bet he can build another overtaking spot here.
Somewhere around. Close enough.
Not getting that slipstream too well. I wonder if there's like a setup difference. It seemed like the car ahead was having way more speed on the straight.
Well, Texas ran wide, crucially, out of the second apex of the corner onto the second part of the back straight, and that has let Rick Cardle slip through as they enter the S's, and Texas, well, he won't have a chance at trying to get back with the aero drop through here. And that is that. Texas drops from P3 P5.
Yeah, Fatal will take note of that. He's got a 2-second buffer to Rick, so he knows he'll hope that's enough. Still a long, long way to go, everybody. So yeah, it could change one way or the other very suddenly. You can see the deficit. Second place, Johnny Katila has is about 7 seconds. That will change as they cross the line soon enough. Yeah, it's down to 6.93. There you can see it on the leaderboard now. So yeah, a little bit of gains here and there, but still plenty more to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Looks like Texas has all but dropped off the back now, so a little bit of wind taken from his sails, but it's still early in this race. Goodness knows what the strategy of the drivers will be today. And you've got to feel bad for this man, Yaroloco. He was running in a solid P2, but dropped the ball out of the final corner a couple of laps ago. And he's trying to consolidate from P6 as we have a battle between Leandro and Oilburner, which is over as soon as we switch to it. Leandro making up the place to P24.
Oh, but Oilburner is getting blue flagged now. I think he just noticed that Leandro was in the middle of the track doing his own thing. Oilburner wanted a bit of a slipstream, like a mini slipstream, and then the blue flag suddenly appeared. And there you go, the goose gas. Yeah.
The Ivor and Rayman Born to Race battle has subsided because Rayman's gone into the pits. We just saw it a moment ago. He's also repaired some damage, so that's going to be a big drop. He's already down to P18 in this race. And Gabor has just got through. Magic versus Hoytnen. This is for the last place in this race, guys. We already have 28 remaining out of the 38 that started. But yeah, proof that there are battles up and down this field as they both drive each other off the road. And that lets Fatal get past one of them. And the second. There we go.
Yes, there you go. That'll allow Rick through. He's got the gap down to 1.7 seconds on Fatal. See if he can keep that momentum going. And he could certainly be competing for that third place again in the next 10 to 15 minutes. But he'll want that work done even faster. So yeah, more blue flag effects be coming out now.
Yaroloco's taking this opportunity to come into the pit lane. He does have a bit of damage, but let's see if he repairs it in his stop. Nope, no. Just the fuel going into there. So this should be a nice and quick stop for him. Pitting on lap 14, so electing to do it in the first kind of quarter of the race, which is a bit unusual. Oh, goodness. I thought he was going to lose it there or loop it in the pit lane, but he's out pretty cleanly. And this will it be a top 10 rejoin or will Lorenzo get him? Let's see. Lorenzo going to the outside, but Yaroloco covers it. Top 10 rejoin. Pretty good, considering what happened a few laps ago.
Yeah, Teemu Soini there has a run down to turn 1 against Lurcy. Lurcy had a bit of a rear left going onto the grass there. And I think that is Carlos. That's 16th place Carlos. Also has an opportunity to compete for position. Lurcy slides. Carlos hits the grass. Thankfully, he held it that time. Well done.
Yeah, a lot of cars doing that. Carlos won't be close enough now because of that to get past here, but he might have a chance down into the hairpin at the end of the back straight. I'm enjoying watching this mod a lot, so thank you to Ivan CSX for providing us with this entertainment. The drivers seem to be having fun too. It looks like a handful, but you know, everyone loves a challenge.
Trouble for Yaroslav Donalik on the 5th corner, heading onto the back straight. Iron Donny has breezed past for 20th position, and blue flags will be coming. That is the race leader, Leguskas, coming to make space and get on with his race.
Thamuli's coming to the pit lane. Let's see what Miika's teammate decides to do here. Just fuel by the looks of it, and he does have some left front damage there, of course, from an incident he picked up earlier, but electing not to repair it, so he must not feel that it's having that much of an effect, as we see Yarda giving a lot of space and a lot of room to Vitalis as he comes through. And yeah, this is fine form from Legutskas, taking the points and the momentum that he had from his win at KY2R last month, and there we go, through another back marker. Slow stop for Thamuli, unfortunately. That drops him down to P13 for now. And speaking of Thamuli, Soini has just picked up a place by slipping through, although Soini, I believe, still has to make a pit stop at some point during this race. So just an inconvenience at this stage for the ZFRL driver. And Lurcy now trying to get through.
From this corner, you don't want to go side to side,
Nope.
but I wonder if they are gonna do it. Of course they are.
Of course they are.
And
Instamuli.
Demol is
no.
going wide, so wide. And he's lost quite a lot of time there now.
McElroy has now taken the baton for ZFRL. So, yeah, that's unfortunate. I'm sure Miika, but I suppose they're content in many ways. They're still fighting for positions.
And so are these
Yeah.
two, Carlos and Lurcy. Or not. Well, that was over.
And that was quick.
It was. Tank slapper from Carlos puts him directly in the line of sight of Martin McElroy now. As he said, Owen, he takes over the baton for ZFRL in this race. And up towards the Michelin Bridge. Carlos going quite defensive. That'll make him wide for the braking zone for the first hairpin. And there's
Oh,
contact.
and they touch. Oh no. I don't know. Carlos seemed like he had some trouble there. He's lost some small pace there.
Well,
For
it
quite a
looks as though he
moment.
opened the door and tried to close it back down, but by the time he decided to close it down, there was a Martin McElroy in the way, and they came together. That's as simple as that. But there we are. That was over as well. So the Mooley's back in the lead of the ZFRL duo. Speaking of duos, Jari Katila currently leading Team Soini in the World Class Lions mid-pack. Of course, Yoni Katila, the son of Jari, is currently P2. As Carlos decides enough's enough and comes into the pit lane for his stop, fixing damage from that collision. No, sorry, he's only replacing his tyres. And he's being lapped for good measure. So Carlos is how many? That's P17 now, is the next car to be lapped. And that is Sidus Gabor, who has already pitted, so unlikely that he'll get lapped anytime soon.
We did have a dropout. It was Born to Race's Rayman about a minute ago. Don't know exactly what happened, but that's the end of his race. Yeah, it seems like a disconnect to our liaison, Chris McElroy.
Yeah, just a clean disconnect, no such drama. So just didn't have the greatest of pit stops. It's quite a long stop, so maybe just figuring that he'd rather spend his evening off of the server than on it. But we still have 27 drivers competing here, and as you can see on your screens, it is Fatal, who is following. I think he's following one of the other. I think that's Asker he might be following, but here is Yoni. Some way up the road now. That is a heck of a gap between P1 and P3. 23 seconds now between Lagutskas and Fatal. Further 5 back from Fatal to Rick Cardle. So everybody's spreading out now, and the pit stop phase is going to be the leveler here. What is everyone going to do in their pit stops? And more importantly, when are those pit stops going to happen? We've already had a ton. We've already had a lot of pit stops happening within the first kind of 10 laps of the race. But plenty more to come. Plenty more drama to come. Yeah, I can't get over those first 2 laps, Owen. That was some mess.
Yeah, it was quite scary, I'm sure, for a lot of the drivers. Sent into spins or contact. Gabor pulls out of the race.
Yeah, he's gone.
And he's out. So he felt he couldn't rescue his day. He was one of the big victims of the first corner incident. So he'd be gutted about that. I'm sure as Falcon has lost control on the run down to turn 8.
Spectacularly. Yeah, there's some very interesting rubber marks on the road. And he was behind Lorenzo, but now Lorenzo's got through and is battling with Martin Capal and gets through. So Lorenzo making up a couple of places there. Bit of a surprise for him, I imagine. But yeah, Falcon, I'm not sure how on earth he's managed to lose the car there. It's a very unusual place to see a car spun out. Martin Capal is nursing some damage there. Look at the front right. Total mess. I wonder when Martin will decide to put that in the pits for his stop. Will he do it now? Nope. Deciding to carry on. So just nursing that car around the rest of the race for now.
Yeah, halfway isn't for another few laps. So if anyone wants the one-stopper, safe in the knowledge that they can go the rest of the way, then they'll be pitting very soon. But we've seen before in RTFR, plenty of drivers have put in 85% distance, maybe even 90, without making a stop. So yeah, they'll probably want to keep going as long as the track is clear. Falcon, though, is not one of those drivers.
No, he needed to repair that damage. It looked pretty uncomfortable as our race leader pulls into the pit lane and takes up the first pit box. So an early stop for our race leader, only putting fuel in, so he's completely content with his tyres. But yeah, that is an early stop for our race leader. I honestly expected him to well, I guess maintain is the word to say, maintain his track position and try and keep his car out in the lead for as long as possible. But there we are. As he exits the pit lane, he reclaims P2 because Eoin has managed to slip through.
And actually, he's got a 5-second gap or thereabouts to Fatal in third, so he was able to judge when he could get some clear air. Jaroslav Donalik will be moved aside under blue flags right about now, I'm sure. So yeah, that's perfectly strategized there by Luguskas. So he can get on with the work to try and regain that lead.
Yeah, Fatal is only now a couple of seconds behind. The time on the timing tower updates now. There we are, 2.1 seconds. Of course, Fatal yet to pit, so this is a little bit of an insult to him. He'll be seeing Luguskas rejoining after a fuel stop, and he's already 2 seconds ahead. As Martin Kapal ditches his car and decides enough's enough with the damage. Maybe he's out of fuel, but let's see. Goes to his pit stop. Will he repair? Yes, he does. So he wants a comfortable end to the race. He's changing his setup as well in his pit stop. So he is very much not happy with that car right now.
Yeah, it's the worst time to feel these kind of struggles. But Mosh McCarry now is trying to break away from Lurcy. And that's not the best turn one apex you'll ever see, but the ability of this car to launch away, it is quite impressive if you get it spot on.
Yeah, it's light. It's got massive slicks. It's a bit of a rocket. Sounds good too.
It's got that rumble that you dearly love to hear from a V8. That's for sure.
Yeah, and 3.5 litre V8 no less. So it's a chunky thing. As we watch Iron Donny getting a little bit sideways out of the chicane. that was well held for Donny. I'm fair play to him. He's used to these top positions in these races, but has had to fight his way back through after an incident on lap 1, currently P15. And back to the Zerda Farrell guys. It looks like Thamuli wants some action with Teemu Soini.
Yeah,
Teemu's
on.
Sorry.
The Sony goes wide, and there comes the easy pass. Yeah, that's the one way to overtake. Just put pressure on the guy in front of you, and maybe he'll make a mistake.
Yeah, well, Thamuli was going for the move, and Soini was maybe focused too much on the red and white car and not enough on the grey stuff in front of him. There we go.
Yeah,
Happens.
his positioning was awry, I'm afraid. So when turn 14 came, it cut to the left and his car was aiming straight. So into the gravel trap he went, but thankfully he didn't lose control of the rear anyway.
We are approaching the halfway mark, and we are 37 minutes into this race. And so, yeah, we should expect to see a few more pit stops. Some people who don't do maybe as much practice for these races, they often elect to pit around the halfway mark. It's just one of those things. It's the safe strategy if you just want to enjoy yourself. So expect to see a flurry of cars coming to pit lane in the next lap or two. Here's Yaroloco. He's got a huge gap, 16 seconds to Rony. Miika has to unfortunately step away from the broadcast this evening, but we thank him for joining us, of course, giving his insights, and we hope to see him back at the next edition of Excel. So, see you in a bit. Miika?
Okay, thank you. I'll be heading out. Have a good rest of the race here.
Thanks a lot. Catch you later.
Thank you.
Owen, let's let's keep an eye on Yaroloko. He's got that front end damage, which he's picked up from his. Well, we didn't see it. I know you mentioned it, but he had a spin, obviously, at the final corner early on, dropping him from P2 to P6. He's now in P7. So has he had another incident that we haven't seen? I mean, this seems a bit of a weird one.
I didn't see anything else apart from that unfortunate spin earlier. Yeah, I think he's doing okay for the most part. Yeah, I think he's just getting on with the job, and yeah, maybe his tire temperatures are a little bit out of sequence, particularly on the front right, I believe it is. And here comes our race leader, Yanni Katila, to lap one of the cars. Didn't catch exactly what it was. It looked like sort of Marcos GT livery on it, the multicolor effect on it.
Johnny
SVK,
there. 2 laps down now. But his Fatal in P3, he is having a fun race at the moment with Vitalis Lagutskas. So after his pit stop, Lagutskas has come out. He came out quite a way in front, 2.1 seconds ahead of Fatal, but Fatal's managed to close it down. So now that Fatal is on less fuel, I think Lagutskas is a bit of a stopper in the bottle, and Fatal, well, he still needs to do his pit stop, so he could really do with getting past and opening that gap, but he's not being allowed to just yet.
Now, Vitautas knows any distractions from his plan will be very costly. I'm not going to go into the fatal sort of double entendre, but
you've done it now.
Yeah, I've done it now, but I'm sure someone would have been thinking I should have said it, but I did say it. So
covered all bases.
Yeah. So a little bit on the grass there before turn 12. That was Magic takes to the pit lane with tire and refuel stop there. Let's see, good run for Fatal here, but Vitautas has pulled out a little bit more in Sector 2 compared to what we saw in Sector 1. Lorenzo in 10th also pits. Now takes the box near the top of the lane for tires and a refuel as well.
Yeah, a lot of drivers not happy with the fuel. With the tyres. Obviously not happy with the fuel. Not happy with the tyres, which is interesting. So that is more of a kind of a symptom of a lack of practice more than anything. Because obviously our race leader, Lagutskas, didn't feel as though... He's not a race leader, in fact, he's in P2. But our net race leader felt confident with his tyres. He didn't pit for tyres. He pitted for fuel only, as Lurcy also comes in and out. There he goes. Back into P16. Rick Cardle's decided to come in, so more of our leaders opting to pit at the halfway stage, which is unusual. Very unusual. We don't normally see race leaders coming in until the end, but there we are. Just Yanni Katila and Fatal, who are still out there of the front runners who haven't made their stops. As Rony Krompush comes into the pit lane. Rony hasn't come into the pit lane. It is Texas who's coming to the pit lane. And Rony is yet to stop as well. So Texas, a very, very nice stop, brings himself out in P6 with a lot to gain in this race, Owen.
Yeah, lots to profit from here for Texas. If he can now make sure he returns to his rhythm for the track after taking to the pits. It's easy to forget your practice and your work that you put in during the race as well before it. When you take the pits, it can just take you away from your top speed, I suppose. So yeah, if he's okay, he can certainly push on.
Travis Ivor comes into the pits and heads out again into P11. Oh, he's short stopped. He hasn't stopped for the full 10 seconds, only 8 seconds. So he has to come into the pits again or take a short penalty for doing an insufficient length of pit stop, Owen. 10 seconds mandatory, remember?
That's correct, yeah. In the build-up, I didn't think to mention it, but it is important for everybody competing to time their pit stops. Oh, that's a slide.
Ooh.
Oh,
half
Fatal.
Spin there.
Yeah, he's held it, though.
Yeah, so all of that advantage that he gained trying to keep up with Lagutskas has been undone, so he just needs to settle back into a rhythm and get his pit stop over with and try and gain as much as he can. Because, of course, Ricardo isn't that far behind, only 28 seconds back from Fatal. And can you get a pit stop done in that time? Only just, I imagine.
Yeah, it's quite a short pit lane. When you think about it, it's just that chicane at the exit.
Oh yeah,
That's
and not
the
to
biggest
mention the
problem.
very thirsty V8.
Yeah, that's
when you try to fill it.
point.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Monty McCarry's had an incident. He's retired. Well, he retired from the race, then rejoined, and now has left the server. So, unfortunately, that only leaves us with one ZF4L car, but it is in the top 10. So, good effort from Thamuli, but unfortunate for Monty McCarry, as True Alpha there makes his way past another back marker. And that was, in fact, Thamuli for ZFRL, and that means Yoni has lapped everyone except. Well, he's lapped everybody except Yari.
Well, Yari's
above.
pitted, so
Yeah,
Yari's
Yari's just pitted. Yeah.
So it's
Yari
Yari
Loco.
Loco downwards, or yeah, Loco upwards. Sorry.
Got there in the end.
Yeah.
So yeah, Yari leaves the pit lane and will rejoin somewhere in the Falcon Lorenzo battle, or will he be ahead? I guess he'll just be ahead, as these two are just exiting the final corner. So a nice little buffer there for Yari, and yeah, possibly some positions to be made because he has Donny and Ivor. Sorry, Donny and Ivor just ahead. Potentially Soini as well. Martin Cabal down in P17 and Carlos, the closest two cars on the track. Yeah, judging by what you've seen, Owen, are you a favour of this car? I think it looks pretty tricky to drive, and I'm always a fan of that.
Yeah, this is a yes vote for me. As I've said many times, I wouldn't have the sim racing skills compared to everyone on show today and many others in the LFS community. But this would be certainly a car I would enjoy driving if I put in the hours to practice, as Capel was looking for a chance.
Carlos is being a bit rude, Owen, on the brakes, and in general down the straights. He's weaving a bit, which is a little bit unnerving for anyone behind. So yeah, Carlos maybe needs to calm it down a bit. Yoni has come into the pit lane, so we need to get a look at that. Let's have a look. He's coming with a back marker, which might have hurt him slightly. A full-on lockup up to his pit box. No tyre change, only fuel going in that car. So let's see where he comes out in relation to the Gutsgas. Might be a fair way behind. You can just see Yoni there on the top right of your screen. And he's coming out of the pit lane. This might be close. This is interesting.
Side by side. That's going to be side by side. Right at the breaking point. The Gutsgas throws everything at it. But in fact, it is Yoni Catilla in the net lead. Extraordinary.
Yeah, absolutely unbelievable. This is the top three right in your pictures right now. Fatal, of course, hasn't pitted, but still, I mean, this is unbelievable. Unbelievable stuff from these guys to come out so close. But it is Yoni Catilla who then takes over the lead of the race, and it does appear as though the gap, the deficit that the deficit that that Yoni had has disappeared because Lagutskas is well into the lead. Absolutely amazing how much time he's managed to gain there to get himself back into the lead of the race.
Yeah, you bet. That's a huge upturn. But the Gutsgas has decided to lean back for a bit because he knows Fatal is having a purple patch at the moment and could even compete to be first on the road, even temporarily, this time by or maybe the next lap, as Yoni's just trying to gain the heat in his or get the momentum back as he just refueled. Yeah, it seems like he's calmed the situation down a bit, but that heavy tank gave Fatal a crumb of comfort there. He was able to compete, but now he decides to pit. So Laguskas might be a bit disappointed on that last lap.
This is a bit bizarre to me, Owen, because Fatal has been pushing to race with Laguskas, and yet now decides to pit. And Fatal has chosen to replace tyres, so that to me is a white flag.
Yeah, he's thrown up,
given up.
Surrender.
Yeah. Fatal has gone for a split tyre choice. He's running R2s on the front and R3s on the rear. Everyone else has gone for R3s. So that could give you some explanation as to why he's decided to change tyres. Very bizarre setup choice from our P3 car. He does indeed rejoin in P3, but only just. How can those tyres hang on? Gary Catilla has been off apparently. Here he is rejoining just at the end of the chicane, and he's going to hand a place straight back to Carlos. Tries to go defensive, but it's just not going to work. The overspeed's gone. Carlos zips by. But yeah, back to Rick Cardle. Rick Cardle's has the advantage here now, because Fatal's odd choice of strategy. Those R2s, well, they're going to go through a heat peak, almost certainly. And that's going to let Rick catch up. As Yaroslav Donlik now leaves the race, and we're down to 22 cars. So quite the rate of attrition, Owen, again.
Yeah, we're getting towards 50% driver classifications, as Carlos has also given up. So yeah, we're really starting to see the drivers fall away now. Still, probably about 60% of the race distance complete. A lot of work to do still. Timu has taken to the pits, but yeah, the choice of tyres for Fatal, we're only going to see the effect of that in the next couple of laps, because he might be competing for fastest lap, and if he isn't, then yeah, I'm really perplexed as to what Fatal is doing. But yeah, hopefully he has made it work, or he will make it work.
Yeah, he'll have to make it work. I mean, he doesn't have a choice at this point. 28 laps down out of 43 at ES7R with the fantastic MRG V8 GTR mod in Live for Speed. Obviously part of the new S3 feature set that includes modified cars into the vast array of vehicles that you can drive in LFS in S3. So if you like the look of this, then go and grab yourself an S3 license from the LFS shop and come and join us for RTFR XL and other mod racing in Live for Speed. Here is Lagutskas for Yes Motorsport, trying to close down the gap to Yoni Catilla, who has found some pace in the second half of this race. But I'm just thinking back to before Lagutskas stopped, Owen. Lagutskas had a heck of a lead over Yoni, and it just disappeared.
That's absolutely right. There was nothing concrete that you could say that cost Lagutskas his position on track at the time that we're speaking of. But yeah, I think it was just a case of Yanni was really comfortable during his stint when Lagutskas pitted, and he put away those seconds and caught up, and then maintained his lead out of the pits as well. So there you go. That's what I see. Yeah.
It could of course come down to fuel. Lagutskas put fuel in and may have just been slower on full fuel than Yoni was on his strategy. Yoni did take fuel at his stop, but yeah, Yoni is performing better on the higher fuel and continues to eke out that gap ever so slightly, 2.7 seconds to the lead. But we're watching Martin Kapal trying to battle with Falcon. These guys go back a long way. These two have been racing well in LFS for a lot of years, and they, I guess they won't mind me saying this, but the place that they're most used to racing, I guess, at this point was oval racing, Owen. The infamous Kyoto 500 races by NDR back in the past. Both Martin and Falcon were prolific characters in that series, if that's fair to say. Side by side they go, and Martin gets through on Falcon.
Yeah, job done there. Just the next phase, yeah, it looks like Martin has achieved what he needed to there. He's got the gap increased. So it's not just a case of he got through by a nose and then had to compete for more corners. He's just clean through and is going to chase down the second race green car in his sights, and that's Lorenzo.
Oscar leaving the pits. Is that his second stop or is that his first stop? That's his second stop. So for some reason he hasn't enjoyed his setup or some damage and has come in again. He changed his tyres, so well, there you are. That's your answer. Loco's catching up to the back of Texas at a rate of knots. This is to regain P6 that he must have lost from an incident we didn't see, unfortunately. But yeah, it looks like he is catching up to Texas Owen at quite a rate of knots. So let's keep an eye on this and let's see just how quickly Loco, the man from Yes Motorsports, can do the deed on MRC Texas.
Yeah, there was all hands on deck through turn 13 there, going right into the bollards, protecting the gravel trap. That wasn't the greatest entry into 14, but Loco makes a good recovery for the sweeping left of 15 before this hairpin right. Yeah, so focused is Loco. There are yellow flags out in front, so there might be another back marker going slowly to let another car pass. Yeah, so there is Loco coming now. We'll see what the gap is across the line. Oh, it's 9/10 of a second. Loco's lap time was nearly a second faster, so he's halved the deficit compared to the last time by.
We need to cut away, unfortunately, from that action because we have the leaders very close together. That 2 and a bit second gap has vanished. Yoni must have made an error. He does have front right damage, but that was from earlier as far as I know. And Legutskas now in that bubblegum coloured MRG V8 is all over the back of him. What is going on? Yoni's had a bad lap and Legutskas is all over him like a fly. Yoni's tyres are getting cold apparently. And the Gutskasses are very much alive as we head up to start-finish to start lap 31. Will there be a change for lead on this lap, Owen? Let's wait and see. It's going to be soon, if it's going to happen.
Yeah, inhale. It's going to be close. And so far, so good. But yeah, there is a nose just at the rear now.
Yeah, Yoni still maintains the lead, and Donny is the person with the front row seat. A better view than we get, most certainly, to watch this battle. He's currently behind these two as Yoni weaves a little bit to try and break the toe to Legutskas, but it's a bit futile. Legutskas is going to get a nice run here.
Giving up the momentum into turn 8. Legutskas is fully ahead at the point of braking and pulls it off around the outside.
Great move, great move. Two titans of Live for Speed going at it, and they don't leave each other any room, but clean in the end, and that's just what you need. Just enough is enough in sim racing. The Gutskas retakes the lead, and let's see whether the turn of pace can continue as Yoni, well, it would appear as though he's made a setup error after all. I don't see anything else. I don't see any of that pace after the overtake. The gap is opening, and that's Donny, if anything, Owen, catching up to try and unlap himself, which he's entitled to do if he can do it cleanly. But yeah, Yoni, he's dropping back again.
Yeah, Pete, I'm not sure exactly how this has transpired. We'll have to see if Yoni has been coasting a little bit, and then unfortunately it went a bit too far in the opposite direction. If he can get this lap back to his target and keep Iron Donny away, then I'm not going to be too concerned for him, but it's definitely nip and tuck as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, now Donny's been dropped into an interesting position, and a position we've obviously seen time and time again in both sim and real life racing. What do you do as a back marker if you have pace over a front runner? Well, you are allowed to regain your place normally, but you have to do it carefully. You have to be smart about it. Yep, if you're not quite fast enough, to get past, and you're matching at the same pace, it's frustrating to follow. It is frustrating, but at the end of the day, you have to make your pass clean, and you have to do it in such a way that you don't hold up the race leaders. So you do have to have a significant amount of overspeed and confidence to keep that overspeed up when you get past. Donny is not in that position right now, so he unfortunately is a little bit trapped now behind Ioni Katila, and we'll just have to sit there.
Yeah, I think now Yanni has pulled out more speed, so Donny just a few tenths behind in Sector 2. That's perfectly good going. But yeah, the sweet spot for Donny would be being able to lap similarly to Yanni at this moment in time, but without getting too close, because the slipstream could help him, particularly on the run down to turn 6. That would be a huge bonus. But
well, let's look at this. So Yaroloco is coming out of the pits for his stop, and he's going to come out just ahead of Legutskas, but this is a lap down now. So Yaroloco at the beginning of the race was lapping similarly to Legutskas. This is his second stop, in fact. So Yaroloco's been in again, and if Yaroloco can't shift and get out of the way, he's going to end up being trapped in a similar position to Donny, and even worse with his teammates. So Yaroloco's flashing, and we'll surely let the Gutscast through. There he goes. Interesting information from Chris in our ear. Fatal changed 3 of his tyres and not 4. So that's going to be an uncomfortable drive. And Yaroloco has just changed 2 of his tyres. So again, a little bit of imbalance is going to be happening. And I think those 2 tyres were changed on just one side rather than one axle. So some odd strategies, as you see Yaroloco getting a bit of oversteer, probably as a result of having 2 worn tyres on one side and 2 new tyres on the other. It's a bit lopsided. And yeah, he definitely doesn't have the pace at this stage to keep up with Legutskas, so no issue for him, really.
Yeah, it was a decent time to come across the lap traffic. The Hibmuli is also a lap, but Yaroloco will compete for position now.
Yep, this is for position.
The Hibmuli a little bit on the grass with his left side, but it seems to not bother him. Yaroloco, if he can just get through this final hairpin, we'll know what his standing is. A bit more wheels on the grass, so that was Yaroloco. Probably just about sense it, even though that enormous bonnet may be misleading from this camera shot. Yeah, good apex that time. That was clear as day there. So yeah, we'll see how Yaroloco settles back into the race. That was a big slide there. So let's see what Falcon has to offer against his teammate Lorenzo. Different shades of green here. Take your pick which one you prefer.
Well, I actually thank them for choosing slightly different shades of green. It's easier to differentiate them. Falcon driving in the brighter green and Lorenzo in the darker green. And yeah, these two, some of the closest cars on track, as Lorenzo there, huge lock-up on the front right as he braked for turn 1. What do you do with your teammate when you're battling? Especially if you're battling for just outside the top 10?
I'd imagine it's the blue flag rule turned up a notch, because you don't even want to get beside your teammate when they don't know you're coming. Yeah, in Lorenzo's case, if he feels he can keep going at the same or better pace than Falcon, then Falcon will just have to comply, make sure they get the team result. With Rony in 5th place is the mainstay for the team today. I'm sure they could have a little bit of fun. They won't have the world-class Lions of Soini and Yarikatila nearby for a little while anyway. So yeah, it's just a case they have to settle down, and then only if there's an opening can they really compete for positions.
Yaroloco is going to come under a bit of trouble here, because he has to decide whether he wants to how he wants to deal with this this lapping. So he's got Ioni Katila right behind him. As they go past another car, 3 wide, and yeah, it's probably the right decision. Get out of the way early and try and follow Ioni to try and get past the Muli. Has the Muli yielded too much? Yes, he has. And Yoroloko has done the Max Verstappen and followed the leader through.
Yeah, glorious play there. Yerloco pulled off the trick. But I was watching, I was still keeping an eye on the race green pair. Falcon overtook Lorenzo handily enough through turn 15. I believe Lorenzo lifted off a bit. So there's the position swap. It was clean as a whistle. But now Donny wants to compete.
Oh, Yoroloko.
Oh, Yerloco. He's completely lost his momentum, down several notches compared to the Himuli, who had to go high, and down low it's Donny.
Yeah, Yoroloko has overheated one side of his car because of his new tyres overheated and he spun completely. Oh, goodness me! What a drama in the late stages. Right rear puncture for Yoroloko. So he's changed the wrong amount of tyres, and that has cost him dearly. That's a long drive round for ultimately a third pit stop, but he's retired. What could have been a podium for him has just turned into a nightmare and a retirement. P2 for the majority of the first, at least for the first handful of laps, and then ultimately a retirement. Well, that was shaping up to be an interesting battle, but odd pit strategy for Yoroloko has meant that he's had a puncture, has retired, and has allowed Tamuli and Donny to go ahead and scrap for P7 in this race.
Indeed. It was also fortunate for Young, currently P17 and behind these guys under blue flags. He was close to the incident with Yerloko's puncture, but thankfully he was also able to make avoiding action and carries on. We'll see any more contests up and down the track now. It's the Himuli and Donny, 7th and 8th, is as close as we've got at the moment. This is Donny with the chance to slipstream now. No, I think they're still too equal. Blow for blow, only a couple of miles an hour in it. That gives the Himuli the chance, but he's gone high on the exit of 7. We'll take a look at Rony's pit stop here, making sure he complies with the 10-second minimum time. I think with the tire change, he'll be absolutely fine. Yes, 13-second pit stop.
And more importantly, well ahead of Texas. So, wow, that's impressive from Rony. He qualified inside the top 10, managed to avoid the kerfuffle at turn 1 and lap 2, and emerges out of pit lane with only a handful of laps to go in P5. So a really nice result for Rony if he can keep it there. Texas now the last car on the lead lap, 8.3 seconds behind Rony, but quite a long way ahead of the leaders, so he'll be safe from any attack behind. So really nice job from these top 6 to kind of master this car for this event.
Yeah, their solutions have proven to be the best of the lot. The other drivers will hopefully find a way to learn of those secrets, I suppose, and get them ready to go for any future uses of the MGR V8. Let's see now as Donny continues the battle with the Himuli and he's gained
the place.
Yeah, he's gained the place. Oh, on the grass a little bit. Good save by the Himuli. But unfortunately that does mean Johnny will leg it away and have everything his own way now. Nothing else can worry him for now.
You've tickled me there, Owen. You've tickled me there. I haven't heard leg it used in that context. That's great. Thanks for that. He is indeed legging it away.
Yeah.
We should use that more often. Good. Well, yes, great move from Donny. Unfortunate for Thamuli. And, well, that's what happens sometimes. Martin Kapal might fancy a sniff if he can catch up in time, but we are running out of laps. We've only got 7 laps to go after this one, or including this one, rather. And, well, Martin's had an up-and-down day. He showed, well, he's shown that he's kind of got used to the car, but hasn't come out on top out of some of the battles that he's had. But comfortable P9 right now. He's got a bit of a gap to Ivor behind, but only 1.9 seconds ahead to Themuli, there or thereabouts. In fact, it's quite a lot more than that. It is 9 seconds ahead to Themuli. But probably doable if Themuli continues to have issues, because look how much time he's dropped to Donny in only half a lap.
Yeah, it's 3 seconds, so he was about half a second ahead and now 2.5 behind. Really frustrating, I'm sure. But Young was in Kapal's radar there, so seemingly went one side and then trying to rescue a slide, he went the other, but luckily Kapal was nowhere near him until it was about time to get through. So yeah, relief, I'm sure. Fatal is now caught up to Young, so this should be an easy enough blue flag order. Yeah, he pulls out the left indicator. That's absolutely delightful to see. It's nice and polite.
Yeah, perfect use of the indicators. And yeah, the first time we've seen the furtive junior of Young on the broadcast day. Probably worth mentioning that Furtive Junior Young is in fact the organizer, or one of the organizers, of the Kyoto 6 Hours, which is happening on May 22nd. And, well, I guess we were going to wait a little bit to do the official announcement. But yes, you heard right, if you have heard, that we are going to be covering that event in full, all 6 hours of the Kyoto Long it will be at, with the GTRs and the prototype mod in Live for Speed. All information about that is on the LFS forum in the league section. 6 hours of Kyoto, organised by Argentina Turismo, and Furtive Junior Young, currently in P17, is part of the organising committee of that event. So please go and check it out and sign up a team. A few of the drivers here today have already signed up. Mazway, the Gutskas, a few others. All good stuff, and we're looking forward to it, aren't we, Eoin?
Yeah, it's going to be an exhilarating event. The last endurance I was on was probably the GT2 Challenge as a driver and as a commentator. That was enormous fun, and I'm looking ahead to do it all again this time. Just pure commentary participant this time.
Boo! You should. No, it's all right. I'll enjoy your company in the commentary box, I'm sure. Enough of that. 1.5 seconds now, the gap between Yoni and Lagutskas. That gap's come down again. What is Yoni doing? Is he playing with his food? What's he doing? Let's keep an eye on these times. The laps are ticking down, 5 to go. Let's have a look at the timing line. What is this gap doing? Is Yoni able to find some pace? Not necessarily. Up a 10th, the gap, but, you know, let's keep an eye. Maybe he's just found some pace in certain sections, of course. We just need to keep monitoring. 23.5 seconds back to Fatal. These guys don't have to worry about anyone else other than the battle they are watching and the occasional back marker they might fall over.
As we see in the gravel trap.
Yeah, trying to get out the gravel. Well, going to manage it as he sends all of the sand from the gravel trap into the spectators. I'll thank him for that later. And, well, he's just lost a position to Asker because of that.
Oh, double puncture, that's what's happened. He's double puncture at the front.
That is brutal.
And
he's missed the pit lane, so he's going to have to reverse it on a live circuit.
Oh.
This is bringing me back memories I don't want to have from a certain race that shall remain nameless, as he does make it into the pit lane. And there we go. Oh, he's overshot the pit box and he's in. Well, that's a shame, but he makes it in there eventually. What's the gap from our leaders? 1 second, 1.1. And Lagutskas, what is going on here? Are they gonna get together and have a bit of fun to the end here? Is this a bit of false spectacle, Owen, or is this what we're seeing? Is this an actual lead battle developing? 9/10 now.
It looks fairly honest to me. If Lagutskas, if he was at his peak performance, I doubt it would be happening. So yeah, Yanni is definitely regaining some of that time he lost when his stint in the race was causing him to fall backwards. Yeah, it's exactly 1.01 seconds, so extremely close, but I think Yanni needs to extract every last drip of performance out of his own body and his car to make sure he can compete for this victory out of nowhere.
Yeah, just want to say before this broadcast ends how much I've enjoyed watching the MRG V8 GTR by Faku. Sorry, by Ivan CSX. And getting my names confused there. Ivan CSX, of course, the creator of this mod. And yeah, I think we had a mod by Faku in a recent stream. That's why I'm getting confused. I won't try and name that because I'll probably get it wrong. But anyway, this gap has come down to 0.85 now. So this is really starting to spice up. But yeah, mods in LFS, big fan. And again, looking forward to seeing the prototype mod, the LMP-inspired Dallara P217 car in Live for Speed. As we have, is that Lurcy again spun?
No, that's Magic in the same paint scheme.
Yeah.
And the same colours as well. Yeah, he's backwards on the back straight.
Well, a disaster for him. And well, these two, they just wanted to get the airtime, I think. They bunched up right before the final 3 laps of our race here this evening. It looks like round 4 of the RTFR XL Championship for 2022 is going to come down to the wire as Martin Capel makes his way past Thamuli on the back straight. Will Thamuli have anything to respond with? Doesn't look like it. So yeah, Martin again picking up another place. He's really come to, well, he's grown into the car throughout the race, I think is fair to say.
Yeah, it's a means to an end there for Martin Capel. Making sure he can improve his form despite a rocky start. But the lead battle is charging more and more now, and it could explode right at the end. Half a second separates the Guskas from Yanni Katila. And this could be the opportunity for a little bit of slipstream. Not enough by any means, but turn 1, you can take 2 or 3 approaches to it. You can go as high on that AstroTurf as you want and then cut inside, or you can be very gentle and then still get that outside curb on the exit. Yeah, very close.
Not often we get a grandstand finish in XL, but today it looks like we're going to get one. 0.27 seconds. Here is the next timing line. It's going to be less than 2.7, is it? Looks like it is 3.6. It's gone up slightly, but it doesn't matter. These guys are as good as makes no difference, nose to tail. Can Yanni get in anywhere near that slipstream? We do have a fight going on further back that we should probably have a look at. It is Lorenzo and Falcon, as Lorenzo very slowly trundles into the pit lane with a puncture, so more puncture action for these guys. Lorenzo there losing a pretty nice position just outside the top 10. In fact, losing a place to Soini as we resume the lead battle with Yanni Katila and Lagutskas. And they get one more lap to fight it out. The amount of opportunities that Yanni has is running out.
Ideally, yeah, he'll get a bit of a run into either hairpins 17, 18 or turn 1. After that, he'll want to be neck and neck out of the right-left complex into this back straight for the sector 1 timing line. Otherwise, the Guskas goes very high, and this could be the opening right at the end, Pete.
Oh my goodness me. They're going to be side by side across the line, pretty much. It is Lagutskas registered with the lead lap, but Yanni Katila draws alongside. Lagutskas with the better early braking is on the outside, and Yanni with a not as good a run. So actually, Lagutskas will have the advantage into the corkscrew. He managed to carry the speed a bit better. Lovely camera angle. I do love the blimp cam as we ride up the corkscrew. You can really see the angles involved. And as we head onto the back straight once again, Yanni has the slipstream, and he's gone to the inside for the next corner and takes the lead legitimately. Oh, goodness me, I do love this. Lagutskas, it's all on you now, mate.
Oh, he'll be sickened if he loses the victory on the final lap. even before the final sector. It's so close, but not enough unless there is a final ace in the hole here for Laguskas. Oh no, he's gonna cut the corner completely. That was basically non-attempt at the corner.
He didn't lose any time from it, which is remarkable. Normally, in any other car, you probably would, but in this car, not so much. Well, he's dirtied his tyres, and that has affected his grip through these corners. And I know the race isn't over, but I pretty much ruled Yoni out. So this is a really impressive comeback as he breaks into the first of 3 hairpins. Oh, goodness me, a bit of a nudge from Laguskas. He's throwing everything at this. 2 apexes to go, and we will have our winner. What can Laguskas do? He's going tighter, ever tighter. Just 1 corner to go now. And will it be Laguskas or Yoni? Yoni just needs to be super careful.
Oh, the puncture!
Puncture!
Oh,
What?
Goodness me.
At the final corner, Laguskas has a puncture, and that means our winner, Yoni Katila, for today, ahead of Vytautas Laguskas. Well, you couldn't write the scripts. You could not write the script. Yoni Katila was well out of that, Owen. But, well, what do you know? He managed to gather it all up, remained calm, composed, managed his tyres a lot better then in the end than Laguskas, and brings home the win in an hour 17.49. Oh, fatal. Well, a bit quiet there at the end, but managed to bring the gap down to 22 seconds. So he certainly had the pace at the end, Owen. 28 seconds then, Rick Cardle, last year's RTFR and RTFR XL Drivers' Champion, comes across the line in P4. Then we'll have the rest of our cars on the lead lap. In P5, who have we got in P5? I think they're still circulating. But yeah, what a race! What a showdown there at the end between Yoni and Laguskas. We don't get treated to that very often, Owen, but when it happens, it is special. Great finish.
Yeah, superb conclusion to the race. Laguskas. Yeah, I suppose if he knew the puncture was coming anyway, that might ease that burden just a little bit. At least he was able to cross the line in second. He didn't lose all of his hard work, but certainly Yoni Katila, there was that period where it was looking like it unraveled for him. He was losing that pace. The pit stop didn't appear to favour him, but then he rebounded and in a spectacular fashion negotiated that move into turn 6 and led for the final 2/3 of the lap. So mighty performance and a very, very big round of applause, I'm sure.
Yeah, awesome. Absolutely awesome. Here comes Texas. He got a puncture. He got a right front puncture on the last lap. That's why our results are slightly delayed, but we did miss one name, and it is Rony. Comes across the line in P5. A very, very nice performance from him. And that is it. That is the full classified order in the race. Let's go ahead and run down those results, Owen. And yeah, well, what a race. I thoroughly enjoyed myself. I hope you did too. But here they are then. Yoni Katila wins in 1 hour 17.49, ahead of Laguskas with a 3.9 second gap because of that final corner puncture. We've seen plenty of drivers in the championships we broadcast here on Sim Broadcast getting punctures on the final lap, but sometimes it's the leader and sometimes it's the guy pushing his hardest to try and keep up. On this occasion, it's Yoni Katila who can take a very big sigh of relief as he wins with the fastest lap of 1:46.38. That is rapid. Very, very fast indeed. Fragmaster will be happy. A long-awaited podium in RTFR. It's been a while, I think. If not, then I apologise, but I'm pretty sure it's been a while. 22 seconds in the end off the lead 2. Rick Cardle in P4. Rony P5. Great job for him. Then Texas, the first driver for Master Race Car to cross the line. 1 minute 54 behind the leaders. But in P6... Iron Donny in P7, Marta Gopal can be pleased with that, P8, Thamuli in P9, and Falcon P10. Soini, great finish for him, P11. Then Iva, Yari Katila, and Lorenzo. In P15, it's Asker, then Furtive Junior Young, followed by Lurcy and Magic, with Oil Burner in P19. Then we've got the drivers who didn't quite make it to the finish. The first of those is Yaroloco. And Owen, do you want to head over the second page?
Yeah, the other drivers struck with misfortune or any other issue are as follows. Carlos, Yoni SVK, Yaroslav Donalik, Leandro 911, Houtanen, Sidus Gabor, Rayman, Kig, Mazway, Lala Rux or Lala Rue, I'm not sure which one. That's CPAT with P31 classified, just ahead of Pablo, Default, South, Happy D, Michael, Mods McCarry, and Vinar.
Yeah, those are 38 finishes. Owen, give me your thoughts, first of all, on the mod.
Yeah, now that we have the full picture of the mod, the punctures were certainly something I never foresaw. But yeah, I'm really impressed with how it ran. You could see the cars when they were battling, they looked good on the slick tires. They kept them going. Definitely not as many accidents past the first lap. The drivers who kept it on the tarmac were able to keep going for the most part. Weren't maybe one or two cases where they put the enormous bonnet into a place it didn't belong, but it was generally okay. So yeah, really impressive car. I'd love to see more of it in future.
Yeah, it is a vast bonnet. Yeah, you got that right. One driver who mastered the long bonneted MRG V8 GTR is Yoni Katilla, who joins us in the commentary box now. Yoni, welcome and congrats. That was intense. We thought, well, I discounted you, but I'm sure Owen had your back the whole time. But congrats! What a race.
Thanks, was fun.
It definitely was fun. Tell us about it. Tell us about your start and your battle with the Gutskas, and whether you actually thought that you could bring this car home in first place.
Oh, yeah. And after turn one, I don't know, someone just came like a kamikaze and took half of the front grid out. So after that, I actually didn't know if I can catch like Lucas. But yeah, then I ended up... Oh, actually I had more fuel than him, and then I catched like him after the pit stop. And yeah, then I had 1% fuel less than was needed, so I had to save 1% of fuel. So then I thought, okay, no, it's lost again. But yeah, then I actually managed to save the 1% and started to push and managed to catch Lagukas, and we were both playing like we didn't actually know if our tires would make it to the end. It was very on the limit as Lagukas even popped in the last corner, so yeah.
Well, that is fascinating. So when you were dropping back after your pit stop, it was actually because you didn't have enough fuel, is that right?
Yes, I had to make a save.
So you saved, which dropped you back, and then you thought, okay, I can drive now, and then you caught back up and saving your tyres all the meanwhile, just enough to get around the final corner. If you'd have both had a puncture at the final corner, that would have been quite amusing. But you managed to do what you normally do, and you managed to keep your tyres alive right until the death. Good effort, man. That was really, really awesome to watch that comeback, especially considering the new information that you had to save fuel. You madman. Oh, any words?
Well, congratulations from yourself as well, Yanni. Would you have anticipated some of those other drivers getting punctures based on any practice you've done?
No, I haven't done any race practice myself.
Ouch. No, that's ominous. If you had a practice, you could have won by 30 seconds, you never know.
Maybe.
It wouldn't have been as fun, though.
No.
Yeah, they're definitely good. So yeah, we haven't spoken to you about mods, Yoni, I don't think, on our channel since they've been announced. But are you a fan generally of the mods in LFS? Do you like them?
Yeah, when the makers know how to make the configs right for the setups, because some have setups don't work as they are supposed to. So there are little issues here and there, but otherwise, yeah, cool. Just need some more people to join LFS again.
Yeah, well, we certainly hope that events like the 6 Hours of Kyoto, which is happening on May 22nd, might get a few more people involved in the prototype plus GTR configuration. Will we be seeing you there at that event, Yoni?
Possibly.
Ooh, interesting. Well, keep your cards close to your chest, and we'll hope to see that sign-up list growing and growing. But yeah, RTFR XL, you've been competing year in, year out in this series, Yoni, and it continues to attract a really, really awesome amount of attendees. Today is no exception. What are you hoping from XL this year? I know you're more of a casual driver in the series these days, but yeah, are you enjoying it? And how do you see the season going this year?
Yeah, I mean, it's great to see big fields. But yeah, personally, I'm busy with school, so not too much time every week. But yeah, summer is now, so maybe I can join more often. But yeah, it's nice that it's going well, and I hope to see more good races in the future.
Yeah, well, speaking of good races, we have some interesting stuff coming up on the RTFR calendar over the next few days and, well, sorry, for the next few weeks rather. But yeah, thanks a lot, Ronnie. Yoni, for coming up and joining us for an interview. We do appreciate it. Next time out at RTFR, the 279th RTFR, we have the XR GT at a custom configuration, again at Aston International GT, which is a mixture of AS6 and AS7. Actually, it will be AS7R pretty much. Most of AS7R with a bit of AS6 bolted on, and that will be next week, I believe. Yep, the 26th of April. Thank you very much, Yoni, and we'll hope to see you at the next one.
Yeah, thanks to you guys.
Owen, take us out. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, that is a fantastic return to form after we missed the March XL event. Liguiskas had that victory in the bag from last month, and just I'm sure he got it this time around. But yeah, very good race. Just a really disappointing for the drivers involved in the turn 1 accident, and then the ensuing chaos for the next few corners on the next lap as well. That was just the one disappointment. It happens, and hopefully we'll see more drivers try again for a regular RTFR coming up next week.
Yeah, I echo those sentiments indeed. Thank you very much, Owen. Thanks for Chris in our ears as ever, providing us with the information we need to get you the action. And yeah, from all of us at Sim Broadcast, we hope to see you soon. What do we have coming up on our calendar? And I always leave this bit a bit too late, but yeah, we've got some interesting stuff coming up. We've got the final 2 rounds of the MRC Rallycross Championship coming up. The first is round 5 on May the 1st, and then the week after that, Sunday, May the 8th, we have the finale. So if you want to get involved in our Rallycross action on our channel, please do. Please sign up for the Master Race Car Rallycross Championship. The final 2 rounds happening in a couple of weeks' time. You can do that on the Live for Speed forum. Of course, we have the return of RTFR, the 9th round of the 2022 season, the first season of the year. That's happening next Tuesday, the 26th of April, at Aston International Grand Touring in the XRG. So a return to a classic LFS car. Then we have the return of Fragmasters GTI Thursday, somewhere in the mix on Thursday, the 5th of May. And then in the distance, a race that we've announced that we are partnering with today, the 6 Hours of Kyoto, organised by the Argentina Turismo team. All of the sign-up details for that are on the LFS forum. We're very excited to be commentating on an LFS endurance race. Obviously, we've been commentating on some iRacing endurance stuff recently, but yeah, good to have some some LFS endurance stuff back on our channel with the prototype and the GTR cars. Definitely not one to miss, either watching or driving. Get a team together and enter that one. It should be a good one. Information on the LFS forum. Owen, shame we couldn't have had Miika to the end, but we hope he's all right, and we hope that he can join us again for the next edition of XL in a month's time. Thank you very much for your company as ever, and we'll see you at the next one.
Thank you, and so long, everyone.
Good night, guys.